Yeah, so we were just hi everybody. I was just having a SEO connection discussion with Bella, and then we were off to something else. And so then I hit, well, should we record? Because we always have such a great conversation, Bella.
We do.
We do, and you're doing your lunch break to do this with me, so this is cool. So we'll just continue. We may not talk about SEO at all, but we are talking just about what was I saying? Helping people get clear and unstuck or gather momentum. And then you were about to say something about that before I said let's record.
Yeah. You were speaking on the direction and intentionality from what I was perceiving with your channel and what you want to like share with people, right?
Yeah, that
Like
was it. That was it. Yeah, yeah.
really drives home the content that you're delivering, which is turning people back to themselves, not that outside version of themselves that they're like witnessing, but more like the things that are left unsaid, the path that you didn't choose but you chose, you know, by choosing that other choice, the unintended consequences of not consequences, like an unintended
Consequences is a good
thing.
one.
Yeah, because that's
Cause
where
and
you end up,
effect.
where you are now, that's what you're experiencing. So how can you come to terms with that? And I was actually just chatting with my friend earlier about it kind of makes me feel like that victim mentality a lot of people get into, the
Yes, yes, yes.
oneself being your own jailer in that way, when
Yeah,
really the jail that you're even living inside is a beautiful world in itself, right?
it can be.
It can be.
It can
If
be.
you want to be in jail, why not be in jail?
It is all about choice, Bella. It is all about choice. And then just being okay with the communication consequences of your choice. Because it's always you with you, you know? You
Mm-hmm.
step outside of it and you observe what you created, and either it allows you to step into something more effortlessly and you're like, oh, yes. Or, you've got to put on the climbing shoes and climb up a little bit, a little more effort. And then you get to decide at every turn whether you have the energy for that. That really is that. Because you're good at ground level.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to climb. You can just naturally move forward based on your own heart momentum and be in perfect harmony with you and the earth and people and experience more love.
Yeah.
That
Man.
is the flow. But we think about it too
uh,
friggin' much.
yeah.
We do. We like, we question. I mean, when I say we, it's because like I'm a we. I'm in that collective,
Me
I
too.
still do. I'm just aware that I do, and there is a different energy when you're aware, like in terms of habits. It's a habit when you're not aware, and then once you're aware that you have a habit, it is no longer a habit, it's a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like claiming everything. You're good. You came for life experiences.
And that perspective releases so much pressure at the same time.
Yeah. So, like talking with people is the easiest way for them to start listening to themselves and communing, you know?
I
I
feel
mean,
like you can even do that by yourself too.
you
Like
can.
I
You
find
can.
I'll talk through an issue like I normally would, like calling a friend, talking about my problems or whatever's going on. I'll just talk to myself as if I'm talking to a friend. And then I'm like, oh wait, I'll realize things. Like something about having the words out loud
Yes.
or even written on a page that works too, but it's
Movement.
interesting.
Movement. See, it's like the communing, the
Mm-hmm.
communication is movement. That's why music is so powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
dance and how it's such a connector, a
Mm-hmm.
vibrational connector, effortless flow.
How
So
do you
movement. Mhm.
want to express your connection through your channel?
Chatting with people like this. That's why I thought let's record. like um impromptu discussions really open the door for more.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm. So are you prepared to at any moment while you're like on a call or maybe on the street with somebody you're having a conversation with, be like, hey, can I record really quick? Because I could
Oh,
imagine.
that would be fun. That's why that was something I, kind of, no, that was part of the intention with the nonprofit. And we
Mm,
had invested in a camera to do that. But then I realized I wanted to be, you know, interviewing as well, or I wanted to be on camera. I didn't want to be behind the camera like it would have been, doing, William, right? Shooting him. Like, no, we both need to be, someone else needs to run the camera. So we never worked that out. So we ended up
yeah.
passing that camera forward. But nonetheless, yeah, it's not hard to do it with the phone, is it? And I do that. But I get you. That's a nice bring that back up again, like maybe even more.
Yeah, because what I'm seeing with what you've expressed, like what I'm hearing is like that desire to capture connection, in whatever means you're feeling of expressing it in that moment, which in this moment it was we were just having a really cool conversation and then all of a sudden it's like, oh hey, let's hit that record button. And
Connection. Exactly, because
prepared
once
for that is
mm,
also what I'm
I
saying,
did.
right? Like with the right tools, with that
Yeah.
like intention in mind, like, oh,
Yeah.
I have the phone, I know how to use it and set it up really quick. Maybe you could even get like a cool tripod. I know you have that one, right?
I have one that would totally work for
Yeah.
it's handheld, and that's actually good.
Or maybe one that has like a longer stand, so then like if you're out and about, at one of your like meetings or something, and be like, hey,
One of
just
my Mac meetings. I love it, my Mac meetings. No, you didn't say that, but I heard that. And I'm like, that's cute, like McDonald's driving one of your Mac
a
meetings.
McMeeting, yeah, with the special sauce.
Oh, the special sauce. I'm gonna pick up a Sunday down at the store, the Crystal.
Hmm.
I'm filling in for Lizanne. And I'm thinking I'm gonna have like a little event. Because really the whole idea is to get people together to talk and laugh at. There's all the seriousness out there. There's all the deep dives, there's all the research. You can make the connections when you need to. I don't have any new information. That's not what I'm offering. I'm offering up like, let's lighten up. Really. I mean, let's value and honor who we are and where we're at. You know,
Yeah,
let's do some stuff. Yeah.
it's so
It's
easy
not
to get
fun to play alone.
be crushed by the future possibilities and what ifs and planning ahead. I totally feel that. I get wrapped up in it all the time. That I'm sitting here like, oh, what's the next thing I need to think about? What's the next thing I need to plan for, budget for? Like,
Right. And then to be in the flow of knowing that it'll be okay because you're just surrounded by people that it'll be okay. But you have to start that swirl. I mean, I think we do. That's like the um, meeting different people and feeling that energy and then like connecting with those people that they know. And then there's a little flow. And then, maybe it doesn't do anything else. Maybe it
yeah.
just does that.
I'd be interested to hear your take on this. But
What?
for me, it's seemed like it's also about the importance of connecting with people that make you feel safe to where you can get in that like space of being really creative and playful and like in the moment, because I have found that when I'm around certain people, I end up taking on more of that like role of being on guard or trying to just I'm in my head, I'm like outside of the space, whereas when I'm with people who I'm really really comfortable with, or who just seem to be more kindred spirits, I'm there, and I have a lot of fun. And of course that's like me thinking too much, right? It's less about the people, but I feel that people do make an impact. What do you think about that?
100%. Just what you articulated. The only word I heard in the very beginning was when people make you feel safe.
Yeah.
And then you articulated what you meant by that, and I'm glad you reversed that because then you claimed all those things. Because who decides that people make you feel safe? You do, you know? So it's all in your ball court. So
Yeah.
you just ask yourself what are those attributes that I allow people in where I feel safe? That's just you. Yeah, it's cool. But then when you start to um author your new stories based on that, the characters change and their importance in your life is different.
Mm. Hmm.
Because that's a deep choosing. I believe it is.
Yeah, the characters change, huh?
Mhm. But if there's something that you've contracted to really learn in this lifetime, meaning integrate it, meaning to know it, to be it, then that lesson, that form will show up in many ways, or that lesson will show up in many forms via the people, places, and things until you go like, oh. So there's always a connectivity, there's always a resonance. And when there isn't a resonance, that thread leads to, the disassociation, which then you just look at, you're the neutral, you look at both of them and go, oh, well, a little of this, a little of that. Then there's no more disassociation, you know. I mean, we're multifaceted, multidimensional, multi-feeling. That's what the purpose of feeling is, so you know how you've grown. Otherwise, you're just doing stuff.
Hmm.
This feels really good when I'm around these people. Well, you've grown to the point where you're really selective for the energies that feel good for you. And if it only happens once or twice with, one and a half people, then there you go. You're luckier than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because they're always deflecting everything, so they don't really know how they feel about anything. That's a valid premise by which to go outside of your door, or or to get online, or to join a group, or to do any of that. To look for, communion. It's like, yeah, count on the resonance factor. It's a lot easier because that's what you're feeling. It's like, oh, that feels good. Yay. You hit a home run right away. You're always the home base. Everything's always aimed at you for the learning, for the teaching, for the up-leveling, for the betterment, for the bestness, for the love of you. That's the whole purpose for all of us. Yeah.
Speaking of connectivity,
Yeah.
who would you say, and the best way you can put it, is your audience? Because to have videos, shows, you have an audience.
Yeah. I think they're just like me, but different. Um, some are rebellious and resistant, and those would be sometimes the just like me's that are younger in their 20s and 30s and 40s. And then more of the seasons just like me's. I mean, it's interesting too, depending on the experience level or what you came in to learn. Some 30s, but more like 50,
Mm-hmm.
55, 45.
Okay.
I'm noticing that division, and I'm just noticing how that feels when we have a conversation in that arena, 20, 30, 40, and then
Mm.
the arena of, that 45, 55, someone just like me. I deal mostly with women, so people that are evolving and want to really like allow more. That's people
Mm.
that I chat with.
Okay. So people just like you in whatever age range, those ones that you've listed, how would you find yourself?
Oh, how would I find me? I mean, if I
Yeah.
was looking. Okay, like a potential client, like a transaction, a session. Yeah, I go through the yellow pages.
Yeah, how do you think he would stumble across you?
Well, interestingly, um, I find you online.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I might have watched I might have watched a YouTube video, honestly,
Yeah.
a short or a yeah, no, I would have found you online and some a TikTok, you know, or I don't do Facebook a lot, but like
Mm-hmm.
a TikTok or I don't do Instagram. What do I do? Substack.
TikTok, Substack, YouTube.
And I generally just do videos and post them. I don't follow any following particularly people. I don't go look at my pages or I look at the videos I post and then I spread them across the different medias that I
I
that
will
I post
say,
them in.
I've found the most success with community and growing engagement online by engaging with others in the community. Like
Okay.
I started streaming, I became friends with other people who were also streaming, and I would have conversations with them, and I would talk with them, like people who were doing the same similar things that I was doing,
Yeah.
and people who would watch, I would talk with them too,
I
or
thought of that. I thought about having them on like, come on the Zoom with me. Let's talk about what you're doing. Like the bridging. Oh, I did kind of have thought about the marketing with the niche, Bella, or where I was headed. Bridging. I'm a
yeah,
bridge. So there's like many sides to the both sides to the bridge, and then there's the crossover on the bridge and the
right. Sometimes,
crossover on the bridge.
yeah, and sometimes that will find you, right? Sometimes
Yeah,
you want
yeah,
to walk across the bridge
yeah,
to you, and sometimes it's you walking across the bridge.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All of it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Free flow, if you want it to be.
I like your idea though to revisit some things that I already had done and just look at them differently.
Yeah, yeah. Look at them from the lens of this isn't just me. I'm watching me as somebody who's not me. you know?
I have two friends that have shows, but more podcasts and audio, but still in my sphere of, we were friends. I think I'll call them and, we'll reach out, see if they want to do something together.
Yeah.
Like, just like, how's your show going? They both have little, well, why don't you come on mine? Let's talk about what you're doing. I'll come on yours and you talk about what I'm doing. I guess that'll be fun doing
And
it.
it's small like that. It really is
Yeah.
small until it's all of a sudden, oh, there's 5 people. All of a sudden there's 15 people. Wait, there's 50 now, it just compounds like that. And then the more the people know, the more people talk. I was literally like at a dispensary the other day
Uh-huh,
just
uh-huh.
grabbing some stuff, and I was chatting with the bud tender there, and he was talking about his YouTube channel, and I wrote down and I shared with him my channel, and like I wouldn't go followed him and checked out his stuff, but like it's just little things like that. Like you never know.
Well, the gaming is kind of similar to what I'm talking about. I just don't do gaming. It's.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he does music, and so it was like even a different genre, almost
Genre.
genre. We.
Genre. True story. Oh, you're
And I
always a pleasure.
that
You
shameless
are.
you.
Yes, true. Let's see what our time is, Pumpkin. We're like at 12:35.
Mm-hmm. I can do like 5 more minutes or so.
Okay. And then yeah, I feel you because your lunchtime and all that. Um, but you're right on about just, having that small circle and then connecting with that. And um I was in a couple of different metaphysical psychic panel groups. And a lot of things shifted a few years back with people getting together and touch and all that kind of stuff. All that
Mm-hmm.
all that crazy stuff. But now things are kind of more in swing, and I actually have considered several times at the Adriatic Grill up from our house, in Oak Brook, that I can do one of those little smaller banquet rooms, like 20 people, and you have the poo-poos, and maybe instead of $5 to get in and having it at Denny's and have people do their own thing, I'd upscale and it's like $20 and that comes with the beverage and a poo-poo. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
get, it's $20. And then there's a speaker, me or somebody else. So we kind of have like a little net worthing group that we start, which is different than a psychic panel, which says you have to want to read people to be on the psychic panel. And it's like if you can just, manage, people can, manage to read themselves well, efficiently and with clarity and be 100%, you don't need to go ask somebody else what's going on. And so if you get people that are really aware and resonate, because that's what'll make the click happen, but I would just build the build and they will follow kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know? And I think that would
Would,
be a nice monthly gathering that people could count on and show up for.
yeah. That sounds like a great idea. Would
Hmm.
you invite recording or live streaming of?
Because there are a lot of people that, would love to be on or share. And that would be one of my gifts that I bring people together and encourage them to do that. It doesn't have to be like an ongoing profession, it can be an on the spot, like you said, it's like on the spot and it changes.
Yeah.
That's something I like. Let's get you on camera. Let's let you see yourself. Go ahead and be seen. There you go, that thing. I love that. That's really valuable because it's a great tool.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
even on top of having the intuitive conversations about these more deep topics, also talking about like their content, the things that they're putting out, like what inspires them.
What I know that makes
Because
an open
that helps
roundtable
shape
dialogue.
form the things that you're also putting on the table, right? Because you're like, oh wait, that's actually sounds really cool.
That
Like
sounds really
I
cool.
have a chat with like a fellow streamer of mine, and she would talk about how she would organize her Discord, which is a gaming platform, like it's like a
Okay.
platform for messaging, and how she would organize her mod meetings. And I was like, wow, that is really cool. I've never done that. And I was like, maybe I could. It made me reflect on how I was organizing things.
Yes, yes.
So it's like, yeah, it's nice to connect and engage on these shared topics level, but also on that kind of logistical goal side, like they're both inspiring in their own right.
Planning. Planning is good and strategizing. Those are all good words for what we're talking about when you're talking about creating a new earth and,
Mhm.
being co-creators. Like you have your architects, you
Yeah,
know? You have to
yeah,
build new structure first from inside and be solid with that. That's the clarity. And then the ripple out first energetically is just you make those connections with people, just like you're saying.
yeah. And what was the architect inspired by, or who?
And yeah,
Yeah.
there's good stuff there, isn't there?
It is. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap up now.
Okay, honey.
I gotta,
Um,
but this has been
well,
a very lovely conversation.
keep Mimi in mind, and just in terms of if you have some thoughts about something, SEO, and then
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I could reach out to your Popo, your dad, and ask him. And then Popo wants to say bye.
Is she gonna pick up Garrett today?
Yes, I am. After.
Oh, okay. What time are you doing? Are you Oh, you want her to come visit? I'm gonna hang up.
No, I was just wondering if that was still happening.
I think it's still happening.
Yes, it's still happening.
It's still happening, she said. Okay. Love you, honey. Was there something else you want to ask
I
her,
just
sweetie?
hello, lovely one. Love you.
Hello, love you too.
Okay. Love. See you soon.
All right,
Bye bye.
bye.
Yeah, I didn't tell him we were recording. It's okay.
It's all good. That's what editing's for.
Yeah, I don't know how to edit, but it's okay. I'll have to figure it out or not. From my 2 or 3 views, you know what I'm saying? Oh, before we go, thank you so much, honey. I appreciate you. I love you. And I did do a video down with Lisa Ann at the
Mhm,
store, and we're talking about a stone. So I was
mhm.
doing I was the Geico girl, and she was talking about the stone. She didn't want to be on camera, but I did. We got the most views that I've gotten in a long time, and it was like 300 or something views on that little 20, 30 second video we did. I'm like, see what you said about linking up with others, doing more of those, getting people on camera with me and creating some excitement because I want to use that. It's true. Yeah. All right. I love you, honey. Thank
Yep. I love you too.